I think we have a quorum here. There's one person that was expecting that's not there, but I think we have all of the regular members here at the meeting. So the meeting to order. So I don't think we have, unless I'm mistaken, I don't
This
think we
conference will now be recorded.
I don't think we need to seat anybody tonight. So we'll open up the discussion on the budget. I sent out to everyone, not through Joanne, but I sent it out, what the comments that had come in. And they all came in the other day, and up to right now, there's no additional comments.
Yeah, Joe, this is Harlan. I think it was good to see all the comments appeared to be favorable, and there was the one that had some issues with how the budget's been presented, and that would be the usual, but again, it's not negative towards the budget itself. So
Correct, that's what I noticed also. Anyone else have any comments or discussion? All right.
Yeah, I would agree with Harlan. I don't see anything in here that looks like something we have to address. The library is obviously happy with the support they're getting.
Anyone else?
Yeah, it's Tim Turan. I think it all seems pretty good to me. I mean, I think Ed's comment is one that's worthy of taking note of as we go forward. Not obviously for this year because this year is passing, but I think if we look at ways of presenting and sharing information with the public in the future, worthy of consideration.
Okay. Anyone else before we set the mill rate?
I think don't we have to officially adopt the budget?
Sure, right, we have to. I guess we'll officially adopt, right, that would be the first step.
So I'll be happy to make a motion then to adopt the budget as it was presented. I don't have that exact figure in front of me, but maybe you can fill in the blank on that.
So the budget total is $32,775,118.
That would be my motion.
I will second the motion. This is Dave. I'll second the motion.
All right. Any other discussion?
Hey, Joe, this is Mark Adelbert. I just had one question. I'm trying to understand on the revenue side that when we look at projected 2021, which is the budget versus the budgeted for last year, for example, like the total general property tax is going up $429,000. Where is that going up? How's that based on? Because I know the grain list went up 0.92%, which is $275,000.
Yeah, but I'd have to go look at the formula. That's the formula that's calculating. But that's the number that balances the budget.
So does that mean, I guess we'll get in that discussion about the mill rate. Does that mean the mill rate goes up then? If it's only $275,000, is it increased through the grain list?
You know, I don't, based upon the calculations, we don't need to increase mill rate. So when we get to the mill rate discussion, it was lowered a little bit, the collection percentage, but not significant. We're just gonna hope for the best.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I just, and I apologize because I'm new to this. I just don't understand how general property tax, the total general property tax went up more than what we said in the last document. We said it went up $275,000, keeping the mill rate the same. And to your point, the collections could probably go, or this was estimated to go down a little bit. So
Yeah,
shouldn't,
I have to look at last year's calculation. I think, and compare it to that. I think there was an adjustment related to collections, but I didn't go compare that. So, but this is the calculation. But that is a good question.
Well, while we're asking questions on that one on the revenue side, because I think it is worthy of note, is because we are living in the world of COVID, and I think today the stock market is paying attention to Main Street and the impact that potentially this is not over. We are hoping to obviously increase the property tax line, assuming everybody is solvent. You're comfortable, Joe, and you're comfortable, Bob, that we have enough cushion if that's not the case?
Well, if we have to adjust on the expenditure side during the year, that would be what we need to look at. We're not going to really know until January, because in July they're going to be most of that those payments are escrowed, but January that's not going to be the case. So we're going to have to monitor closely and look at some of the lines throughout the year and see what we may need to do to adjust the expenditure side if the revenue side is dramatically different.
Do we have a sense of the flow of people's paying? Meaning, I know obviously most people try to pay on time during the month that they're supposed to pay, at least the first 6 months and the next 6 months. And then, but some of it surely trickles in thereafter. I have certainly been at fault of that myself, I can honestly say, happily paid the interest due. But is there a way to track it that we know if it looks like we're going to have a significant shortfall given people's less than optimum situation in town if we have a situation like that?
Sure. Well, what we can do is those monthly tax collectors reports that I pass around, that we can set up something to compare it to prior years, the last 2 prior years as a benchmark. This year's a little bit impacted that, so we might go back 2 years, but we can set up something so that we can see how it is tracking, that's compared to prior years, how big the gaps are. That would be the best way to track it, is just to look at monthly what's happening, where the receivable balance or the collection percentage on that list is, and where it was the 2 previous years.
I think if we could do that without creating great pain for anybody in the finance department, that might be a useful thing for us to just eyeball from time to time.
Yep, it's most we're going to need to be looking at revenues.
Yeah, this is Bob. To Tim's point, right, and Joe, to yours, I agree. Tim, regardless of the amount of work it causes, we're going to have to watch the revenue closely this year. And so comparing, being able to look at monthly as to comparison to what we got last year, or maybe the last couple of years percentage-wise, I think would be a good idea and worth the effort.
Yep. So it's something when by September we can have that set up, because it's easy to build the prior years, and then it'll just be adding each month to it as we go along. So if we get it set up, I think see what happens over the summer. Again, I think July will be better. October 1 is the date for the low interest program, so that'll be another date to measure against. But I think January is the big, the most important date is what happens for the real estate payments, since they may not have been escrowed. What happens with those collections in the month of January? And then that will set the tone for the rest of the year. If we need to look at spending, what can we do without? That will be the time, depending how dramatic the revenue side looks.
Great, thanks, Joe.
All right, anything else? All right. Okay,
I think we have to vote.
we have to vote on the mill rate, correct? I lost my sheet, but yes. So yeah, the mill rate,
I think we have to, we didn't actually take a vote on,
okay, all right, since this should be the only one or two votes, so, all in favor,
I,
opposed? All right,
Mark Adelberg, nay.
all right. So the motion passes is projected budget at the 32,775,118. So again, the mill rate, as we planned, would be, we managed to that number, would be the 31.69 to balance the budget as was the prior year. And that's at a 98.5% collection. Again, we did reduce it a little bit. It's not a huge impact. Again, we'll have to manage it like we discussed when we have more information.
yeah, I agree with some of the discussion that we're gonna have to be careful with that, but I think that's a fair starting point. Motion, set the mill rate at 31.6 and the collection at 95%.
All right, do I have a second?
Yeah, this is Dave. I'll second.
All right. Any other discussion?
Hey, Joe, I'm just curious, the 98.5, what's it normally set in the budget at as a collection rate?
98.7 or 75, I think is what we've been using in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? All right, great.